Good day. Hello.
Good day. Hello, fellow peoples of the internet. Welcome.
Chip chip. Welcome. Yeah, welcome to Sips and Conversations,
Yes. Pew, 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 pew.
where we are your hosts,
Yes.
Nancy Gua
And Ilana
and
Goodman.
Lana Goodman. You know, I met Alana at the park the other day.
Did you? Did you
It was
feel
the
like
craziest thing.
Did you feel like it was me, my energy coming to you? I was coming to find you in
Absolutely
the park.
not. No. No, she was really cool. She's an artist. I'll share some of her stuff with you later, but she was really cool. But she was not you. She was not you. But yeah,
Super.
sorry, my energy is like, bleh. Like I'm dealing with like stupid migraine, and it's like I just puked my guts out. Which normally I feel better after I puke my guts out.
You must have just caught something going around.
No, I get migraines. This is what happens. Like I'll get
like
all like back here. Oh yeah, like yeah, like in the toilet. So like my all back here, like my spine will start like doing this number, and that's how I usually know it's coming. And then like here, it's I shouldn't do that. Like
Nancy,
but I've been dealing with this all week. No, we're fine. It's all good. I've been having migraines like for years. And so once I get some ginger ale in me, I'd probably be better. I'm just gonna like lay down for most of the day after.
Yeah. Lay down. What the hell?
Yeah. We're just gonna chill. So I'm glad it happened today. It's Labor Day here in the States.
It is.
Do y'all have Labor Day in the UK?
No, we do
y'all
not.
Don't celebrate the day of laboring, of working.
We do not.
Hard?
But we had bank holiday, so they don't do they don't have, you know how the US has like a bunch of different random 3-day weekend like holidays? The UK just has random bank holiday days. So there's nothing specific, there's no actual holiday, like there's nothing happening. The holiday is the banks are closed on those days. So they're
it's like, hey, it's a holiday. You're not, you can't come get your money out of the bank.
Literally, they're just like, we're taking the day off.
We're taking the day off.
So last week, I'm sure there's like a history behind it, but last week Monday was bank holiday for us. So our like basically Labor Day weekend was last weekend for me.
Got you. Yeah.
So that's why I kept messing up.
With what?
I kept messing up with times and days. I kept being like, yeah, Monday. We'll talk on Monday. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, got you. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah. So, girl, so much has been on my mind this.
I haven't spoken to you in so long. So
it has been like 2 weeks.
I don't even know. I'm going through withdrawals. I need you to.
What's happening? I have been like, and I posted this on my social media in my stories because I'm a stories poster. Like, if you were to look at my page, you would think I don't exist online, but I'm always on stories. I'm usually a stories exister.
Yes.
But first of all, let's get into these cups before we get into the convo.
We teased a little bit of Sips merch coming soon, but these are the mugs.
Yes.
So Cheers. These are the sample mugs. Cheers, darling.
Yeah. Cheers.
So hopefully we'll be able to get these to people soon. We're working on it, but you can sip your sips in a Sips mug while you spill the tea.
While you spill the tea.
We're working on the slogan. Just give me some time.
This is well, it's come thirsty, leave hydrated.
Come thirsty, leave hydrated, of course.
You know, come thirsty, leave hydrated while you sip to be unthirsty. Okay. So
tell me everything.
Probably so much is happening. Like, America has been crazy. So a couple weeks ago, America has been crazy.
I know, that statement was so good.
It has. It has. America's been crazy for several years. Like, I can't wait for. I can't not wait for like the weird political unrest that we have going on to just like go away.
Literally.
I'm literally speaking of one human being that just needs to like go to prison, just go away, and so that we can be divided,
never come
like
back
with normal politics again. Not like, but I think that like this vermin, whatever, has awakened. I can't even say his
rat
disgusting name.
Rat creature.
Yeah, Donald Duck has has awakened.
Don't disrespect the Looney Tunes like that.
I know, right? True. Wacky Duck. Let's just, has like awakened like what, has just been sleeping like in the country, right? Like just that gloominess of like racism and all that. But like, I found myself getting just angry at like, people that were like, oh yeah, I stand by my party and this, that, and the third. And then I'm like, you know what? I did not like how upset I got.
Yeah.
There's like one specific incident that happened. I didn't like how upset I got. And so I'm like, okay, let me actually dive into something outside of just race, right? Because like racism is just a thing. And we've come so far, but haven't at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there's so much that's being like unturned by the Supreme Court. And there's like all this. So like in the moment, it just is like, I'm mad because one party is represented by a racist and a bigot. And that's all I really had to go by.
Yeah.
And you can't educate by being angry. You have to educate yourself and understand like, okay, what's beyond the blatant racism and bigotry? What else is this human being like enticing, right? And so so then I went down this rabbit hole, which like I'm still down the rabbit hole, y'all. And I love being in the rabbit hole.
She hasn't returned.
And I don't know that I ever will.
Alice is fully in Wonderland and she's never coming back.
I'm never coming back because so like being West African, you study like American history.
Yeah.
When you come to America, like especially as a child in elementary school.
Yeah.
But like I don't have a background that's connected to American history. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if people do like their genetics, what's that called? Their DNA and me?
Ancestry DNA or whatever.
Did you say DNA
and me?
Girl, I don't.
Me and my DNA.
Me and my DNA. When like you do that. When like you draw your own blood and like put it in an envelope and send it off somewhere.
When it's the 18th century and you draw your bloodletting to find out who you're on.
Like, what? Where's the problem? When you do that, like a lot of like people's blood, like especially like Black people living in America, their blood traces back from like Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, like that space. And so me being Cameroonian, I'm like, okay, that's like my one like linkage.
Yeah.
Like, oh, y'all came from my cloth, right? Not literally, but
he's like, I'm 172 years old.
Yeah.
So I am the birth mother of America. Thank you so much.
The birth mother. You're welcome. Let me stop. But like, so like that's really been like my only connection. And I do make a distinction. Like I am African. I'm not Black American because like, no, we came on the steamship. No, I'm just kidding. We did not come on a steamship, though. We came on an airplane.
Boat with the paddles, and they just paddled all
They're like halfway. The boat had like a in it. What's that called? A hole. A shark came and attacked us. and then
Titanic style. You got on the
Titanic
plane,
style, yeah.
And you one-armed it all the way to
one-armed it all the way to the U.S., right? Like,
all the way to Texas.
Actually to Atlanta. That's where I first came, was to Atlanta when I was like 8 months old. And then like we trekked from Atlanta airport to Auburn, Alabama.
They hitchhiked.
And then we hitchhiked, 5 miles down the road once we got to Alabama after taking the long journey on foot. But like, so like that's like my only like connection, right? And so I'm like, let me actually study. I know I studied in elementary school, but let me study American history, like for real, like as an adult.
Yeah.
And as I restudied American history, civil history, the different branches of government, I'm like, oh my gosh, like why do they teach us political science, world history in like the 4th grade? Like why do they teach us this many years?
They never teach us again. They teach it to us when we're like way too young to understand.
Yeah.
And then they never touch it.
And then they say, hey, you're 18. We did that. Check. Then you turn 18 to like, go vote educatedly.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know. And so then politics becomes, or voting becomes a thing of like, and people hate when I say this, okay? But it becomes like a sports team. 100%. And it's like, my sports team is blue and your sports team is red. And I'm going for my sports team.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what politics is.
It's honestly a little culty. Like, it's a little bit culty. And it gets a little weird. It gets a little weird. I'm not going to lie.
Like, mad weird. And so, like, when I found myself getting angry, I was like, okay, Nancy, hold on. Let's wind this back. Let's do some actual, like, educating of thyself. And went back to, not World War, but like how World War II, I think, started with, is that the Hitler War? Is that the Hitler War? Right? Yeah.
War? It was just Hitler. War. It was everyone in the world against Hitler.
The Hitler War. And went back to that, and then even to like, okay, how did America begin?
Yeah.
Right? And like the lies that were told, like, no, the Pilgrims did not come here. No, it was the British made a colony. Like, let's go venture a new world, and they happenstanced on America. And then later on, more people came to be like, oh, this is an official British colony. Let's kick off the natives from their land. Go out west, y'all. We don't want you here. And then, like...
we don't care who was here first. We're here now.
Yeah.
That's what
we're here now. And then, like, so then indentured servants were part of that, which were all races, blacks, whites, like... indentured servants, and then there was a free black man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later on that like a slave boat crashed into the American shore.
And they said
that slavery began.
People of color, no.
No. Yeah, because that black man, he was able to withstand the winter, and he knew how, like, and then like you realize like, oh wait, y'all know how to grow crops, y'all know how to do this. Okay, let's start this. Oh wait, they're doing slavery in Spanish America.
Oh, they're doing slavery. Let's try that.
Let's do slavery. Let's try that. And like, and then many years of like disgusting shit happens.
Yeah.
And then finally the slaves are free. And oh, by the way, they were told lies just so that for whatever, I'm not going to go down that path.
Right.
But then they're free. Abraham Lincoln is killed. And what they were promised by General Sherman never came to fruition. They didn't get their land and their mule.
No,
instead General Sherman, who like obliterated Atlanta, Georgia, was like, yeah, no, y'all gonna come with me to Savannah. What do y'all want? Land and my mule. Okay, you can have it. Oh wait, just kidding, because I don't think that you deserve to be free. I'm just doing my
jokes on you.
Jokes on you. Then you have to literally like work your way back through, and we go through many, many, many more years. Jim Crow era happens. All this bad shit happens. Civil rights are fought. They're won-ish.
Yeah.
Right? America starts progressing forward.
Yes.
Same time, you also have the Industrial Revolution,
yes.
which impacted everyone. Right? And that's really what ends up like creating modern day like work and school, because hey, if we just have you working, dear every single person, everyone work, but no, I don't, no, you want fair wages. Yeah, no, bump that shit. Bump that shit. And we're gonna kill you for the audacity of you wanting fair wages. And sorry, I'm going down like this like crazy path. But like all these things have been happening, and I'm learning about all this stuff, and I'm learning about how civil rights acts have been reversed as recent as 2013, as recent as like last week.
No,
I'm sure something else.
As recent as this morning. No, I know it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's like the craziest thing in the world that's happening. And so, yeah, when we talk about the like progressing forward, and you've got, I don't even think that when you sit down with rational people and you take away the Democrat, you take away the Republican, and you just have the conversation,
right?
The average person actually believes the same thing.
I know. And it's like that's why I said a cult. It's like the brain, and that at the end of the day, like that's what I think certain cretins have capitalized on, is this like, ignorant cult-like following, and really has figured out a way to capitalize on people's fear of things changing.
Yes.
Fear of like the ability to change, and what if it was different, right?
Yeah.
Because, even psychologically, right, the most relevant way to determine the future is by relevant past behavioral or patterns, right? That's like psychology 101, right? So if you cannot predict what that future will look like because it's never looked that way, it's scary. Obviously, it's scary. And so I think instead of leading the people into that space, spearheading like, I know this feels scary, but just ride with me, and I promise you, we're going to come out of it the other side. Okay, it's not as scary as you think it is. It's not as scary as you think it is.
Yeah.
We don't know really. The creature in the skin suit, we don't know what's going on.
When you said that, it reminds me of like Men in Black. You remember Men in Black? Did you watch that?
Honestly, yes. I feel like
this
shouldn't
can't be real.
Here. You're not real. Like,
you're not real.
There's no possible way. So, when he gets up there, and I mean, we've all heard a multitude of speeches and, conferences and like whatever it is he's saying. It doesn't even make sense. I can't even create like a Venn diagram of like topics where there's anything that makes cohesive thought of what he's saying.
Yeah, nothing.
But, blindly, like many people do in a cult, of any type of sort, they blindly, because it gives them that, it validates that need for like for that security. It validates them like, and I think we talked about this before, but it's like, no non-person of color in this country would ever actively choose to switch places with a person of color, no matter how,
no one.
Right, no matter how
no one.
far down whatever pathway you are, you don't want to choose places, and you know that. And so you're either going to stand on that 10 toes down and go one way down the path, or you're going to recognize that change needs to happen, right? And you're going to go down another path. I don't know. I can't. It's really terrifying, I think, is like, I mean, we make jokes, but like, it really is terrifying that on Beyonce's internet in the year of our Lord 2024,
it's almost 2025.
We're having to literally be like, December tomorrow. Don't be sexist and racist. I don't understand. I don't really understand.
It's the craziest thing.
I don't really understand.
Thing, which ended up, as I've been on this like path of like learning and been sucked into this like whirlpool of like I'm never coming outness, right? Like I'm staying in this forever. I just love being informed, and I love being able to be on the internet or to hear someone talking and being like, no, you need to fact check that. Yeah. Or did you look at this? Or did you look at that? Or this is, I like to have like real facts to stand on versus just like thoughts and feelings about things. Yeah. And so that's why I've just been loving just going down this rabbit hole. But then you also look at like our highest court of the land, which is so corrupt.
Yeah.
And the real life Uncle Ruckus is sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I never...
In the flesh.
Like, oh my God, this is Uncle Ruckus. He looks like him in everything. He is Uncle Ruckus. It's like the Boondocks were so advanced.
Ahead of our time, truly and utterly. Ahead of our time, truly and utterly.
Like, they need to be in the book of history.
Everyone needs to rewatch. Everyone before the end of the year needs to rewatch the Boondocks. Yeah, if you haven't, if you've never or watch it for the first time if you've never seen it.
If you've never seen it, everyone. It doesn't matter. It don't matter your race, y'all. It don't matter your race, your gender, your religion. Watch the Boondocks.
Just watch it. Just watch it, and then you can get the reference. Otherwise, you're not going to understand the reference, and that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, I'm serious. But like, but this Uncle Ruckus who benefited from so much of what he's saying no to because he's getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. His wife literally helped J6 happen.
Yeah.
And yet people are blindly saying, no, let's keep going on this path of craziness because it's that cultish ghost sports mindset.
Literally, I've never understood it, and I really think there has to be some deeper meaning of like why humans like that are incapable of like original thought. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or like original opinion, or like someone needs, I'm sure somebody's done a PhD on this or something. I don't know. But somebody really needs to go in and figure out like for all the rest of us that have become fully actualized human beings who can like think for themselves, because I'm on the same side as you of like, I'm on the side of like, we're picking the lesser of two evils here, truthfully. I mean, I feel like, I mean, that's even my decision to move here to the UK. Like, the UK isn't necessarily like doing it right either, like, if anybody else has seen, I'm sure you maybe have seen like the race riots and stuff that was happening. In the UK. Yeah. Oh my God, girl, it was crazy. Short synopsis was that essentially there was, a stabbing that happened. I want to say someplace up north, can't remember specifically. And some story came out, or somehow it came out on the internet, that it was a Muslim man who stabbed this little girl, little white girl, to be perfectly blank, right? Little white girl. Turned out was not even a Muslim man, that actually it was the Muslim shopkeeper, I believe, that ended up calling the emergency services to show up to the stabbing. But essentially,
wow.
this little white girl got stabbed and died. And so all of the white people, white nationalists, right, like went up in arms and were rioting and trying to like riot in the streets, kind of like Rodney King riot in the streets. Okay. Like we're going to mosques and like people were having to like stand outside. There was like anti-protests going on. Also, if I can find it, I'll send you what happened in North London, because it basically started in the northern part of the country, and then it was like all these riots coming down, and they tried to do it in London, to North London, and basically I know people who went to like the anti-protest, so like the people who were protesting against the people that were coming, and there was so many people that came out in like droves that they didn't even show up to their protest, to their scheduled protest, because like there was so many, and there was like the news was like thanking the police officers were thanking the civilians for coming out in like the masses like that, because they would not have had enough people to fight the protesters, fight the racists. So it's just like, I mean, this literally happened less than a month ago. This was like literally just the other day in London. So like, I know it's happening all over in America, and obviously in London, the type of crime and the way it happens is different, but it's the lesser of two evils, right? So like, you know, the weapon of choice here, right, is knives and knife crime versus guns, right? Or like whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So many guns.
But you know, in some respects, and I'm not going to say all respects, because again, I'm not writing hard for the UK or anything, but you know, in some respects, they're just an older country. They've been around longer, and so they. Not only that, they're also smaller. So certain legislation and stuff considerably smaller. I think like the whole country of the UK can fit within the state of Texas or something. Like it's like, you know, it's very small. So when you put in certain legislation or you pass certain laws, like it's a lot easier to, you know, apply it to the whole country versus a country as big as America, right? But I would still not actively choose to move back home to the States anytime soon, because even here, like, it's so frustrating when I talk to people here and they're like, oh, you're from America. Oh, so like, what's going on over there? And I'm like, I left for a reason. I have no idea what's going on over there, man. It's so confusing. It's so confusing.
It's just so, it's corruption, right? And I think like the one thing that makes, you see how even like with the UK and with Europe just being such a older nation or whatever continent, whatever. And then America is so new,
whatever.
whatever. And America just being, I mean, really it's a very new establishment, right?
And it's
that has advanced so, and it's huge, but it's advanced so fast considering the time.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes America a place where like foreigners will continue to flock to, as long as it holds true, is the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
And that Constitution that says you can come here, you're free. Here's the rules you abide by, right? Like, here's your rule book. As long as you follow the rule book, there is no limit to
what
your success, to what you can do. And like my parents are a testament to that. I mean, they were the first of their family that came, and now like almost everyone on both sides are here in the States. They literally led the path for their families to come here and be successful and make a life for themselves where they could not make it for themselves in Cameroon, because like Cameroon is so full of corruption, right? Yeah. But so to watch the very corrupt system that destroyed and keeps destroying third world countries from, you know, due to greed and all that stuff, it's like, to watch that happening here, it's so heartbreaking. And then to see a billionaire, a bit with a B, a billionaire who has literally benefited from said corruption, who has paid politicians, who now is a politician. Like, to see that system that swallows up all these other countries coming to fruition. That's why the reason why people came to America, that founded America, was in like to run away from that system, a caste system where you're ruled by religion. You've got like the monarchy, right? And then now to have a person who is saying, oh, let's do this. And because we don't know our history, because people don't know history, not by choice, by design, there's a reason why we're taught history as 3-year-olds. And then taught as 18-year-olds to vote.
Right.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason why even to become a US citizen, the questions that are asked are like very rudimentary.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason why freaking Fox News, fake news, is what it is. It's freaking fake news. It's not real.
It is.
It's such fake news. It's there for entertainment. They literally block out certain parts of, they don't tell the full story.
Yes.
And like here in Alabama, where, Alabama has, it's a little different.
It's different.
It's Alabama. It's a little different out here, to the point where, like, do you know, like, people don't even contest the Republicans running? I kid you not. Like, so I'm in the 3rd district. In the 3rd district, there is no Democratic contestuant. This happens all over Alabama, right?
Wow.
Where like they just don't contest it. It's just not, there's just no contestuant. And so as long as a Republican Party they get their money together, they sign all their paperwork, a lot of times they just make it to, they make the Congress, they make the Senate, they just make it to the House. And there's no contestuant.
And this is where you get these, like, you see these clips of these, like, idiots, and you're just like, how did you end up
there? Because people, like, and just the what I've seen is just there's such a block of information.
Yeah.
And like when we first moved here, my son, within like our first couple weeks, I was down at the school board because someone thought it was okay and acceptable to play a video of like the children's march where the cops were beating the kids. They thought it was acceptable to play that to my child without my consent.
Right.
And so this is how, like, then you've got an entire group of everyone who feels like, oh, this is normal. Cops beat on Blacks, but because you're not seeing cops beating on Blacks anymore every day, oh, we've made such progress. No, but they're doing it with laws, right? And things are changing behind the scenes. And it's like, I don't know. It's like the more I just go down this rabbit hole, I don't know where it's going to take me, but I'm just like, something literally has to be done. Like, people need to actually understand they have choice, that they have the choice to be educated.
Yeah. It's like beating a dead horse, though, sometimes. It's like, it just really does feel like, I've got members of my family that I, love and care for very deeply that just cannot break or shake their commitment to a certain line of thinking. Yeah. And it's really like defeating and disheartening. And at the same time, you're looking at it as like an intelligent human being and being like, but it can't be, but we can't continue doing this.
We can't continue this way. Understand.
It makes you feel crazy. Honestly, it makes you feel crazy. Like, I feel like when the first wave of the Daffy Duck, Donald, whatever we call him, and Yosemite Sam, whatever.
Yeah.
Was first running, monster. And going. I remember feeling so incredibly like defeated. Oh, dude, my light turned off. Well, I hope it's not dead because no, it's not. It just was like it was just like, girl, you've been talking for too long. I don't know. whatever. Oh, there we go. It was just like, you've been talking too long. It's on Bluetooth, so it might need to be charged. My bad.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure I have a charger somewhere. Ugh. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to be dark today. It died. I guess it's just going to look like nighttime. I swear it's only 5 o'clock. Maybe I can use my phone? Does that look stupid? Kind of?
No.
I don't know.
Where's your phone at?
Literally look at my phone.
Right there.
But yeah, I feel like I went through this, like, because in my heart of hearts, I'll be dead serious. In my heart of hearts, I was like, there's no way he's going to win. That's how I felt, truthfully.
Agreed.
I was like, ha hee hee, this is a funny time in history. Like, we're going to all laugh about this, 4 years later or whatever. Like, I really... And so when it actually happened, I'm like, stunned is not even the
he
word.
He was too, though. That's the gag.
That was
so key. He was like, wait a minute, I won?
Wait. Really think that he did it for the Kiki. I don't think he did it.
It was
really,
not serious.
And he's been stumbling and scrambling the entire way through. The entire way through.
Yeah.
And I just, it really, I mean, even just me trying to, like, muster up the motivation to vote after that is just, like, really, it's tough. It's real tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still going to do it, even as an expat. Like, I've already registered and all of that. I'm still going to, but it's like, it's really difficult to not, and being one of the Americans that was like, I need to get the F out of this country. Like, I was like, I can't.
And a lot of Americans have done that too. A lot of Americans have done it.
Are still doing it because
and continue to for mental, for mental peace, right? It's just like, you can't. How do you see that every single day, and how it really breaks you, and it breaks your thought process, and it just it's like, at the end of the day.
The day's gotta end.
The hate, right? The hate that he's exuding, and he's able to pull people in based on hate, shows where America just is, and that it's like, and I hate to say this, but even in me going down my spiral, like, for the first time, I never understood racism. I get it. I get racism.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how are you so great at one point in time, and then now you're not, right? But guess what? You still have the ability to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You can still do things. It might just look different. It may not be like the way that your family's always done it. You might have to, I don't know, go to school for something different, or you just might have to do something just different, right? And so, like, or join a progressive movement that says, hey, look, these billionaires that are in America has, like, I think, like, the most billionaires per, like,
capita,
whatever, per capita or something. Yeah. And that's the actual enemy here. It's not each other. It's not the everyday person. It's not Black or white or Hispanic or whatever. People are coming in through the border. I've got family members that have come in through the border. Why? Because they were escaping war-torn countries, which is why America is always in someone's shit, because they're like, hey, let's go play peace so that y'all can, like, have peace in your own country, versus everyone flocking here. So that's why America is always, like, out there. But, like, Cameroon is war-torn.
Yeah.
Women, children getting killed. I mean, like, my mom would send me photos of, like, women in the rivers trying to escape, and they're shot dead.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, pregnant women getting killed.
Yeah.
Has it died down quite a bit over the past few years? It has. But this genocide is happening all over the entire world.
In the Congo, so, it's happening everywhere.
The Congo. And that's why you're seeing these numbers rising at the border, was because of that. It's not like all of a sudden, Mexicans are like, we're going to come to America in drones. No, it's not just Mexicans. It's everyone. And my family members that have had, I probably had 3, 4 people in my family that I've heard of that have escaped from Cameroon, made it to Mexico, and crossed the border and sat in prison for a year or 2 years waiting their asylum trials. And so they're not just entering the country without going through a process, without going through a system.
And that's like
and so but these lies are being told.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ignorance of it all. And like, the other crazy part about it is, like, truthfully, you really think that someone wants to put themselves through that entire process just to come here, like, for them to be treated poorly? And, like,
Right.
we've talked about this before, but, like, the whole thing about stealing people's jobs and yada yada yada. I'm sorry, but the job was available, was it not? Right? So, like, you have just as much every opportunity to apply for certain jobs as other people. And truth be told, you're spoiled in a lot of respects that you can turn down that kind of a job, right?
Exactly.
When someone has just left everything they know, their culture, their language, their
everything.
family. I mean, who knows what kind of traumas they've experienced trying to come here as a refugee or seeking asylum.
Yes.
Someone who is seeking asylum is not like, what sounds like a good idea? I'm going to go take a, janitorial position from some hillbilly down in Alabama. That sounds like a fun thing to do on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, what?
They're not. They're not. And these are like educated folks. Like you might be a nurse back in your country, a doctor, a lawyer. Like these are real stories of real people that are like, I can't live like this anymore. I need to get out. I need to find refuge. I've got to get help. Right.
Yeah.
And so the average person will sit here and say, hey, why can't the average normal intelligent human being actually says, well, let's just fast track this person, regardless of what political party you're on.
Yeah.
Let's fast track this person.
Right.
But what the news doesn't show is the simple fact that there's legislation that was trying, this current Biden-Harris administration was trying to get passed a bipartisan piece of legislation that was completely shut down by the MAGites.
Yeah.
By the MAGites.
Yeah.
And it's like when you tell someone that, they're like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. No, that's actually what's happening.
Literally.
That's actually why, because there's no real desire for change. There's no real desire for peace.
People are comfortable and like, sorry, hold on. Somebody decided to do landscaping at 5 p.m. Give me a second. Can you hear it or you can't hear it?
I can hear it, but it's live.
It's probably louder to me than it is to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand working hours.
The window's open.
Yeah, I don't understand working hours in this country. Like, it's 5 o'clock. You guys, like, everyone's already on annual leave, and then they decide what you have to blow all the leaves in your house at like 5 p.m. I don't know. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Yeah, but like and not even necessarily like the everyday person, I don't think it's necessarily comfortable. I do feel like it's just those people that want power that are taking advantage of the state that the average American is in. They're desperate. They want change.
Yeah.
They want to make more. I went to the grocery store the other day. I spent $70 on like 5 things. My son was like, wait, what? He's like, I thought it said $17. I was like, no, 70. So I got pre-workout. That was $21. I got
$21 for pre-workout? So sorry.
Pre-workout. That's been like, that's cheap, girl. That's the cheap pre-workout. Well, I get the big thing. So it lasts me a while, but still $21 for pre-workout. It's been like that. It's been like $24. So I actually went down a little bit, to be quite honest. I'm okay with the pre-workout thing, but like the chicken wings, I got chicken wings $17.99 for a 20-piece chicken wing.
And I bet you they weren't even organic,
They were okay.
whatever.
They were definitely not organic.
It was like the chickens, they were treated. We're not going to say how, but they were treated.
Yeah. And my kid was like 17. Like he thought they said seven. So chicken wings, a thing of potato salad. I got one more thing. I can't remember what it was. He was like $70
for like 4 items. That's how much you paid.
Literally. And Tristan was like, "What?"
No.
and so when we're going after immigrants coming to America,
right?
And meanwhile, I'm at the grocery store and it's $70. No,
we're talking about the wrong issue here. Wrong issue, guys.
It's not the issue.
Wrong issue. I know
That's
people.
Not what's causing inflation. It's not. We're not paying. If they're here illegally, they're not getting Social Security benefits. They're not getting. You don't get shit.
They quite literally are not taking anything from you. Actually, they're not taking a single thing from you because they legally cannot. So
they legally can't. They legally can't. Oh. So it's just like the real problem is big business. And like let's attack that shit. Let's
call it a bug.
Stop. Let's just call it a bug. Like what's happening with big business right now, right? People are making $7. I watched this documentary. It was 2 families that they followed them from 1991 to 2024. 2 families.
Okay.
Such a powerful documentary. Oh my God. Because
send it to me. I would watch.
Reminded me. Okay. Yeah, I will. Let me actually do it now so I don't forget. But it reminded me of my parents and like their journey in the US. Sorry, hold on.
No, you're good. Also, while you're doing that, I apologize. I am eating a bowl of shredded wheat dry, so if it's a little crunchy over here, I apologize. Just don't say anything about that. Just don't say whatever it is you were going to say.
I'm not. Yeah. Okay. I'll be quiet.
Not going to address my shredded wheat issue. We're not going to address it. And, say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to have to like send this to you later because I'm like, where is it?
Okay. You can send it to me later. It's no big deal.
Like, where is it for real? Yeah, I got to find it. But yeah, but these 2 different families, they both had gotten laid off from Briggs & Stratton at the same time. Okay. 2 different families, 2 different racial. One is a Black family, one's a white family.
Okay.
It shows their path from 1991, I think it was 91, through literally present day, like a couple months ago.
Wow.
And so powerful because it's literally the journey of all Americans, right? Like trying to figure out, okay, how do I pay my bills now that I'm laid off? It explains the reason why they got laid off because Briggs they shipped their jobs overseas so they can lower their costs. Because guess what? And I remember when the whole subject or topic of like minimum wage going up started happening a few years ago, I was very anti it. I was very much like, no, you can't pay someone at McDonald's $15 an hour because if you do that, like everything is going to go up, right?
Yeah.
But like, which is very like ridiculous of me because like cost of living went up. People need to make more money.
It just is
so, like, it's really else.
For some reason, the numbers are only ever travel up. They never go the other way. So
they never go the other way. Yeah. So like, I just wasn't even mature in my thoughts then. But just my business mind came out like, no, because I just know how it works. If the minimum wage goes up, those companies are not going to say, "Oh, we'll take less profit." The folks at the top are still going to. They are maintaining their PMs. Their profit margins their income will remain the same
always.
Right, the folks at the top. So who's going to pay for that? Us, the consumers.
Yes.
When the war on tariffs started, I'm like, this makes no sense. Yeah. Why? Because understanding supply chain and understanding how money works, a tariff is not paid for by it's not paid for by the country that's importing.
No.
It's paid for by the country that you're importing goods to. Who's going to eat that? We are going
the
to
people who
that,
pay
right?
for it.
People that are paying for it. And so it shows that entire journey of them and how they just tried so many different ways. And the ones that are successful, like their kids who are now successful, what they had to do, they had to take up student loans, they had to do this, they had to do that, right? This lady's like, I've got all these degrees of she has her not security, cybersecurities, a master's in cybersecurity. She's got like all this, but she's like, but I'm $90,000 in student loan debt.
Yeah.
At the same time, but what other choice do you have? Okay, no one talks about real benefits of like joining the military. Because if you join the military, at least you can get a grant and you go to school for that.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't really talk about the benefits of joining the military very as openly as they really, even people that join the military, they don't necessarily know that all these benefits exist. But then you are also sacrificing. You're not with your family. You're going away.
You're
still,
at the
right?
mercy of the government. Because my cousin, she was married to a Marine for 10 plus years. That you could kind of bid for like, this is where I'd like to go. And then they were like, no, you have to go to Japan. Sorry. Like, sorry. You don't. You lose out on stuff like that too, but yeah, and I think that's why, we talk about this a lot as well, like not just like you and me or in, this sort of like world that we're living in right now is this thing of like, what was available for our parents to be able to do or our grandparents to be able to do that like we just cannot do, like the cost of living and like all of these things is because of reasons like this of like, in order for us to protect ourselves as a generation against, things like getting laid off, like way back in the day, you could go with a high school education, start working in a company, work your way up, buy a home, retire comfortably, and do all of that. Yeah. But if that company laid you off, right, or whatever it was, you're screwed, or whatever it is, your whole family, and you're in a single income household, and like, and now what? Now you lost everything, right? And so as children of those consequences, it then became almost mandatory for you to have college education in order to get a job. And then when when it became standardized for everybody to have a bachelor's degree, then it was like, okay, well then to be competitive, you have to go up. You have to have a master's. These days, more often than not, people are getting master's degrees or have master's degrees, which means if you want to be competitive in that industry, you got to go get your doctorate or whatever. Right? And so then you end up, student loans also are just like a crazy concept to me. The fact that like education, especially in the States, like here in the UK, it costs me a quarter of the price that it would cost me to do to do a 2-year master's program if I stayed in the States, which is the main reason why I came here in the first place. But even other countries here, like Norway, for example, it's all free. You don't have to pay. You can get as educated as you want to get, and it is all free. You don't have to pay for none of that, right? Like, and so
that's where tax dollars go in those countries. Is where tax dollars go. And so like if there's so many people with so much money, right? And it's no one saying like, look, I'm in the money business. I'm all about be wise with your money. But I also teach folks like whenever the same tax laws that apply to the wealthy also apply to you. Yes. You can also use the tax codes. You're in a different tax bracket. So it's actually going to benefit you quite a bit. So really the path to like any kind of freedom is small business ownership, right? Like that's a huge path to gaining some sort of some form of like freedom of your time where you can kind of get that back, or where you're working to like pass something on to your kids, or where you're working and you're able to get some tax relief. Because once you start, you get your master's, you're making a decent, salary. Now you're getting taxed out the freaking wazoo because depending on who's in office, they want you to have the middle class to be taxed out the ass. Yeah. Then like if you are in a one income household and you have a family, there's no child tax credit anymore. Oh, it's like for my kid, it's like $1,500 tax credit. So So you're telling me that that's what it costs?
That's what it
I went to the
costs?
store. I spent $70 2 days ago. You're telling me that's what it costs, and no one's saying like you should pay me for having kids. I get it. I totally understand. That's why I only got one.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like it costs way more than $1,500 to put a child through anything in this country.
Let's just start just school. Nothing
just school.
else. Just school. Like
housing.
Are you joking?
I can't. He has to go to school. Okay, if you're going to school, you have to have clothes. You have to have school supplies. You have to have food. You have to have these things.
Right.
I am legally obligated to. And that's another thing. Sorry, y'all. This like I'm.
Go ahead, let it out.
I've been like really so frustrated.
It's been ruminating, so let it out.
It's been like boiling. That's the other thing. Like, so I'm legally obligated on paper. I am my son's legal financial provider.
Right.
Legally, it says I am 100% responsible for him financially. Cool. I wanted that. I wanted that proof to be known.
Yeah.
So I can go get him a passport. Guess what? I can't get him a passport. I can't get him a passport, despite the fact that I am 100% legally obligated, despite the fact that Georgia, the state of, this is where people say, oh, every state should have its own this, then the third.
No.
Well, can every state also? They can't. We need some sort of freaking governance. Like, the state of Georgia recognizes me. Like, if you are an unwed mother, it does not matter who signed your child's birth certificate, right? You are recognized as the sole custodial parent.
Right.
Unless the father goes through what they call legitimization.
Right.
Only when the father goes through legitimization can he then be recognized as a custodial parent and then sue you for custody, for partial custody.
Right.
All right. But until that happens, they have no custodial privilege in the state of Georgia. So in the state of Georgia, I'm the sole custodial parent and I'm the sole financial parent, provider. In the federal government, I'm not.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
But a passport is a federal piece of documentation. So it doesn't matter what my state says.
It matters what the federal government says.
The federal government says. So now I can't take my kid on vacation without suing my baby daddy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For full custodial benefit, when in the state of Georgia, I'm recognized as the full custodial parent. What?
That's crazy.
It
makes no sense. It makes no sense. No sense.
I've never gotten a dime. His dad and I were together until he was 2.5.
Yeah.
I've never gotten one penny of child support.
Right.
I think he bought him diapers like once before. Then he tried to make my life hell for many, many years, right? Like I ended up at the police station because he like took my kid, damn near kidnapped my child, didn't know where he was, nothing. And so now I'm like, okay, we've got to go to court because like we obviously can't parent on our own. Like we don't know how to do this. Right. And so then he's like, yeah, forget you. You decide if you want your child to have a father or if you want your piece of paper. Literally, I have text messages that say this. So you have a person who is clearly, completely, unequivocally
does not have any, just does
no
not
interest,
none, zero,
does not care. And yet now, if I want to take my kid on vacation to Mexico for his birthday,
that you also have worked your butt off to make all this money to be successful so that you can do things like take your kid that you take care of. It's not even like, oh yeah, let me cash in this child support check and take my kid to Mexico. Right. No, right? Haven't asked you for anything and now you can't do that.
Without taking him to court and getting attorney fees. Luckily, I have insurance through work, legal insurance, y'all. Insurance is, you gotta get,
right.
where you can get insurance. But because like I can't get a free attorney because I make too much money, right? So I have to pay for an attorney to sue my baby daddy, who does not give a shit.
Right.
It's like this whole system. Oh my God. And then on top of that, I'm like, then we've got all this racism that's happening. It's just a lot. I know
really
I'm
is.
This entire,
it's a lot living on Earth. It's a lot, like, just being a human living on Earth, like, truly and utterly. I've been right there with you going through the muck of it. So, like, yeah, go ahead, take a sip. You need it. What's
funny is, like, the more I talk, the kind of almost better I feel. But I feel like as soon as I stop talking, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna like cry.
It's just the physical culmination of all of the shit you've been dealing with, truthfully.
It's just so much. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, I'm fortunate. A lot of people don't have, and that's, I think, what keeps, like, for me grounded.
Yeah.
Me grounded is like, people don't have the ability of free thought. There's someone somewhere, even here in the States, right? Like, the ability of free thought is not something that everyone is blessed with, right?
No.
We see the cultists that are happening.
Yeah.
And so at least I'm thankful that I have the ability of free thought. I'm thankful that I have, like, support, like yourself, like in you, to be able to just, like, vent. And, like, I'm thankful for the freedom of speech where I can just, like,
where we can make this podcast and just pop off and say whatever we want to say. No, honestly, like, having that ability to free think is not something that I take lightly. I know you don't take lightly, like, having that ability.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's why, I hope, me and my partner, we talk about this all the time, that, like, I know that you're trying to raise your son to be a different thinker. Like, I hope that we raise our kids to be different thinkers, so that when, maybe we'll be long gone, but, like, generations and generations from now, maybe all of this sort of hogwash will be irrelevant, and, like, we can actually escape the chains of, like, ignorance and fear.
Yeah.
It's really, perhaps this is a harsh statement, but I think sometimes it can feel a bit like a version of modern day slavery. It's just like that ignorance and fear.
It is. You're right.
Because fear is easily manipulated.
I really think that I love how you put that, like, the chains of ignorance and fear, and the fact that fear is like and ignorance. It is like modernized slavery. And that's how it works. It's like, if we can encapsulate your thought process to what we want it to be, versus allowing for that free thought, and, like, we win, right? Who is we? We are the people that are actually in power, the folks that want the billions of dollars all for themselves, the selfish, the greedy. That's who we are. Not we, like me, but, like, the we that I'm thinking of.
The we that we're talking about.
But, like, if they can do that, they're successful.
Yeah, and then they can maintain that power for as long as that. I mean, like, it's, there's so many books and movies and literature and all of these things that talk about this kind of thing of, like, the dangers. I've even seen people comparing what's going on to, like, The Handmaid's Tale and, like, all these things.
Yeah,
I have the dangers, but it's true. I mean, like,
it's so true.
Yeah, okay, hee hee ha ha, dramatic, but, like, it really could. It just takes one person who's just unhinged enough to get just enough people on their bandwagon, and that could actually literally be your reality.
Literally,
like I know, joke, but, like, that could literally be your reality. And so
that's how we had Hitler.
It just takes one person to be able to manipulate that fear, and you having an unwavering commitment to your ignorance, because, again, The internet is free. Like, books,
Free,
the library,
free 99.
the library
$0.
will let you check out as many books as you want for free.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, you don't even have to check them out. You can walk in, pick them up right off the shelf, sit there and read it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even have to take it home. I mean, like, and you know, in this sort of like modern society, like, education is actually so much easier, accessible than you really think it is. So accessible. So that just tells me that you're making a conscious choice and choosing to be ignorant and uneducated, because you could educate yourself if you really wanted to. If you really want to. And also, that's why it's important to have.
And I think it's also important to have like different circles of people, right? Because like it's only by being around different types of people that you really start to hear about the different issues that are out there. Like, imagine me only being around Black Africans. Yeah. All I'm going to know is Black African stuff. Yeah. I won't know anything about Black American anything. I won't know anything about Black Caribbean. I don't know anything about about Anglos, right? Yeah. Asians, whites. Like, I won't know anything about anything. So it's like, when they talk about diversity and being around different types of people culturally, also being around women, men, like having, not necessarily, you don't have to be friends with trans people or anything like that. Hey, your belief is your belief, but like at least exposing yourself enough.
You just need to listen. Like that's really all it takes. Just listen.
Intentionally seeking these different, the different inputs, because that's where, like, I was watching some, they were talking about like people that formerly voted for Trump and why they voted for Trump, and because they were just angry, they wanted to change. But there was this one guy, this one white dude, and you see him, he looks like a rock and roller, right? You would think like he's going to, like he is.
He really looks, you know, never judge a book, but
when I never judge a book, but when I tell you that statement of never judge a book, because he in the entire like interview series was the one person that was unwaveringly open-minded to everything. He was like, yeah, but look at this, look at that, look at that. And homeboy looked like he riding Harley Davidson. He part of the bump of DEI. And he was like, yeah, no, literally, right? Like, and he was like, no, you got to look at this, you got to look at that. And he's like, that's where, no, like how, these are our neighbors. No, this guy is enticing hate. He's hating these people. Do you think Mexicans are coming here for real like that in drones? Like, he had the most common sense out of, there were like 10 people that were being interviewed, 10, 15. And he had the most common sense. You could tell he exposes himself to different types of people. And that's the only way that we're going to get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really just boils down to like having the simplistic understanding that my human experience is just my human experience. And that means that every other human that's on this planet is living their own human experience. And so what may work for me and my human experience isn't necessarily going to work for all the other humans. And we're going to do our best to try to keep everybody safe and give them a certain quality of life. Right? Yep. But like, however they conceptualize their human experience, right? And however they need to feel supported in that is valid, just like mine. It's valid, just like mine. And it doesn't really matter what's happening in my head, under my roof, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you know, whether somebody chooses to vote certain things into law or not into law, in actuality, it really doesn't affect anything to do with me, right? It doesn't affect anything to do with me. Like, really, honestly, I'm still going to be doing the same shit, right? So why does it matter? Like, if you just like,
it matters for that person who that law is protecting. It does not matter for you.
It doesn't matter for anybody else. And that's why
it does not matter for you.
These sort of like fanatics and like, you know, not to get all riled up again, but like really like these like fanatics that are so like petrified of like, you know, people's lifestyles, people's, expressions of self, like
yes,
people's skin color, that, all of which, for the most part, are all things that people can't control. It's just sometimes just the way they are, right? It's just the way they are. And it's like really just rocks your sense of reality. I just want to hold your hand and really be like, you should go touch grass sometimes. You should go outside and just breathe fresh air and go touch some grass.
I cannot.
And just find a little sliver of like grounding in reality, because where you're existing right now is so in outer space that honestly,
so in outer space,
maybe you need to strip off your skin suit and kind of get the heck out of here as well, because I just like, it's such a foreign concept to me.
It's such a foreign, and it's not until those people are impacted by something that then they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what, like, just stop for a second, go outside and touch grass.
Yeah. Just everybody take a deep breath. Go outside. Touch something living. That's not a human being. That's grass. Let's not touch
or
people.
A dog.
No consent is a thing. Let's just touch grass. Touch some grass.
Touch grass.
Go hug a tree.
Touch the earth. Hug a tree. Yeah. Go to the beach, put your foot in the water.
Also free 99. Doesn't cost you anything to just go touch grass and find a sense of reality, because realistically, the choices that you are making right now in your life will affect the next generations to come.
Yeah.
And so whether you think, oh, I'm making a decision for me or I'm making a decision to protect myself, you're actually not. You're making decisions that are going to affect the lives of multitudes of generations behind you.
Yes, and for years.
If you don't live your life understanding that responsibility, understanding that, like, having children that grow up into adults is a responsibility. Being influencing those children that become adults is a responsibility, and not understanding the gravity with which that responsibility is. Like, I just need you to check back in. Check back in. It's not about you.
Literally.
It's never been about you. It's not about you. It already is what it is for you. Yeah. It's not about you. So you gotta
it's not. Stop being selfish. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway from our conversation
100%.
today. It's like, we've got to stop living in a bubble, in a selfish, self-centered bubble.
Yeah.
And think about your neighbor.
Yeah.
Think about your child's future, your child's children's future. Think about that little kid that you once were, who did not see color, gender, none of that.
Right.
Who just loved everyone.
Yeah.
Even if, no matter of their sexual orientation, like, think about that kid and go back to that place of innocence and how you genuinely just loved people and wanted the best for people. Like, just go back there before life tainted you.
Yeah.
Before life proved to be nasty and ugly and to be a place where you had to work your ass off.
Yeah.
Right? Go back to that place.
Yeah.
And I think we'll all be so much better. Like, we'll all be so much better if we can just, like, uncloud what life has done to us, to our parents, to whatever.
Yeah.
Just go back to that freaking place and then look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, we need a collective inner child healing. That's what we need. We need a collective inner child healing. I feel like that was a good place to mic drop. So I feel like, I mean, I know we still have things to discuss, but we're going to leave y'all.
No, but that was good.
We're going to leave y'all right here.
That was good.
Drop down in the comments, how you're going to do it. How are you going to tap back in? I feel like it's like, or if you just concur, if you just agree, even if you don't share this episode or you just happen upon it, like if it stirs something in you to be able to speak on that elsewhere, I don't know, tag us, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but to your point, like, you know, if for nothing else, like,
if nothing else is
someone might watch and can relate. If you relate to what we're saying, you know, let us know how you relate, right, to what we're saying. There's no way we're not alone. These conversations are happening all across the world right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like freaking therapy, man.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have friends.
That's a good one.
Friends. How many of us have them? Friends.
Oh my gosh. I think that's been it. Follow us on the internet. There's going to be things in the description, as always. I'll make sure to put it there. Look out for mugs, I guess. Look out for mugs. I was sipping a lot for my mug. Nancy was not sipping as much because she was on a roll. But that's okay. And we will catch y'all next time.
Next time.
Peace.
Peace out.